Hey everybody, welcome to another InventRight.com TV show. We have InventRight co-founder Stephen Key and I'm the other co-founder Andrew Krauss. Stephen said he wanted to interview me.
Well, Andrew, you talk to a lot of students, inventors, entrepreneurs all day long.
Yeah.
And you've been educating them, such as myself, for the last 15 years.
Yep.
And can you spot when someone's going to be successful? Are there certain traits that you've seen?
I didn't know what question he was going to ask me, so that's funny.
But there's certain things that you've seen.
Yeah.
At that first call, when someone first calls you.
Yeah.
Have you seen something, once you talk to them for a while, that when you look back and you see that they've licensed some idea, you go, well, that's not a surprise for me, or are you surprised? What is it that you've seen over those years?
It's always a passion for their idea.
All right.
And, I mean, when I can see that somebody's passionate about their idea first and wants to make money secondary, it's such a cliche, but if you do what you love, the money will come.
Okay.
So I always like to see the passion for the idea first. If the first thing out of their mouth is how much money can I make, I'm like, ooh, red flag. And the one that's passionate is the one that's going to make money. But the one that's just looking to make money usually doesn't have the passion. I always explain it like this. There's a lot of these, and this is where we differ, and our company differs. There's a lot of these get-rich-quick stock market, how to make money in real estate, stock market, all that. When people take those types of courses, they're never passionate about those things. They want to make money, right? Maybe some people are passionate about those things. I don't think for the most part they are. When I have somebody that's interested in our program, they're always passionate about their ideas. Plus they want to make money. So the money is secondary. And like I said, it's cliche, but we do what you love, the money will come. So I think the passion for their ideas is first. And then the second thing is the willingness to do the work. And I always explain that licensing is 1,000th the work of running a business, but you still got to call those 10, 20, 30 companies. If you're not willing to do that, you will not be successful with licensing. So we're doing this on the fly, guys, so Stephen can tell me this is going to ask me. One is passion, and two is the willingness to do the work. Just straight up, those are the two traits you need to have. That's all you need.
How about the willingness to fail, to make a mistake, to getting back on? Because, we guide people, okay? But at the end of the day, they're going to get feedback. The only opinion that really matters with your ideas is the company you're showing it to, and you're going to get some feedback. I like that we find a student that takes that feedback and then changes it and goes back at it again. Doesn't let them get discouraged. Maybe they are for a little moment, but they're not.
Yeah,
being
back. Being flexible, and I think inventors are very flexible and very creative when it comes to inventing. Oh, this is possible, and this is possible. Anything's possible, right? But they lose that when they get into the business side of things a little bit in, adjusting. No, this is, and the longer somebody's been thinking about their idea, the more fixed in their head. They're like, this is the way it is. And a company's making a criticism, they don't see it as an opportunity necessarily intuitively. I think our students do after they work on their first project. They don't see it as an opportunity. Oh, I can adjust and I can accommodate them. And so I think most people, when they get started, they get a little rigid with their flexibility in the way what people are saying. And you always say, I like the way you put it, you take your inventor hat off, you put your business hat on. That's,
Yeah, you really have to put a different hat on, and ability to do that, and recognize that there's one hat is really fun. Inventing hat.
I think it's a funny visual. I'm going to make you a hat, two hats, and we're going to do this on a video.
Well, one's going to be like this.
We're going to have that prop.
One is going to be like the fun hat, inventing.
It's going to be like an engineer hat or a crazy hat.
The other hat's going to be like, I got to put my sales hat on. But you have to protect yourself a little bit, Andrew. Because there's two sides to this, and so I think the students that I see that are successful understand that I'm going to have fun with part of it, but I still have to change gears a little bit. Even though I'm comfortable building prototypes, staying by myself, I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone a little bit and get out there and try it. Because once they try it, I think they realize it's not what they imagined it was going to be. It's going to change everything up. I just I just spoke to a student earlier, and he had made a list of all his companies like we have them do. I saw the list. It was great. And I told him, he didn't even tell me what he did before, but I told him, I said, look, I'm going to guess when you call those companies you're going to get in. And I'm going to guess that the big toy companies were on that list. They were smaller. You're going to get in. They're going to treat you great. And he goes, well, I've already called them. I said, well, what happened? He goes, you're absolutely right.
That's cool.
Because I said, look, they're going to be a little bit smaller. They're going to, and your product is a good fit for them. It's an educational toy, and they're going to want to help kids. You want to help kids. It's a good fit. Mm-hmm. So, we've been around this for so long. I think we've both seen some of the attitudes of some of our students we have to kind of change a little bit, okay? And we could see some red flags that maybe they're not working on things they probably should maybe work on some other stuff that they're thinking about. I was telling students today, you're thinking about the future so much, you're not doing what needs to be done today.
Yeah. That would be the third thing I would add. Yeah.
And I just said, you got to keep
the passion, it's the willingness to do the work, and I think the best way to put that is being in the moment.
You really do, because we all have a tendency to overthink things. We all have a tendency to wonder what if. And
we're inventors,
we
man.
Just don't have the knowledge.
And you take that and multiply it times 10 for the average inventor. That's what makes them so creative, and that's what hurts them on the business side. I always say, don't invent the process of licensing. Just follow the rules. As far as the business side goes, don't reinvent the wheel. Don't overthink it. Just do the work.
I just love when I call a student after they've been in our program for 30 days, 45 days, because I'm calling for two reasons. But my main reason I'm calling for, where are you? Are you calling the companies? Because if you're not in the game.
Well, I always tell people that I think it's so cool, and that's one of the things that Stephen does in our company. 30 days in, the coach is working with them, and Stephen calls them to welcome them. And we did it by accident. He went on vacation. He was behind. And he started calling people 30 days in. He's like, Andrew, this is great. They're up and running. They're calling companies. They're excited. But every once in a while I catch somebody, and I can lift them up, an additional person in addition to their coach. Yeah. And 30 days is a good time to do that. And I just think it's so cool that you spend the time to do that with every one of our...
You know what happens, Andrew? If they're not in the game in 30 days, we have a problem. You and I both know that. They have a problem. We have a problem. We got to fix it. Because the coaching is done so well that they are in the game so quickly, and everything changes. So it is something I've seen. But getting back to your topic, I would agree. If you have the right attitude, the right passion, if you're a good learner, if you don't mind that you're going to make a few mistakes, if you hang in there long enough and don't try to imagine what it's going to be like, live in the now, and work it, you will find that you can do this. And those are the students I see that they're making the progress and they're licensing deals. One last thing, we had a student today that licensed seven.
That was unusual. I know, it's so cool. I love that.
7.
But at the same time to the same company.
Yeah, 7 products.
Not
to the
normal,
same,
guys.
No,
Don't be trying to do
7
that.
to the same company. It's a whole product line.
I shouldn't say don't be trying to do that, but normally I advise people against trying to license a whole product line. I'd say get them warmed up with one. But in this case,
though, you know what he did, Andrew? He showed one,
sense.
and then he showed another one, and before the guy would say, well, what else do you have? He kept on showing him more, and he said, I'm going to take them all. So anyway, we're going to have him on. Hopefully, we'll have him on class, and hopefully people can watch him and see what he has to say. So,
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to have everybody hold us to this. At some point, we need to do a show where we have an inventor hat and a business hat. And we're going to come up with something really silly. Inventor hat will be all crazy, and the business hat will look all business-like. And because we got to do more shows, we got to have more props.
Hey, I'm going to wear a hat next time I come on. I've got a hat.
What do I have here? I have a pencil. I mean, what kind of prop is that? We need serious props here, man. Come on. All right. So give us a thumbs up down there. Take care. Keep inventing. Subscribe to our station, and we'll catch up with you next time. Bye-bye.